Let's see.
This must gonna be a powerful interview. I have had the most interesting morning day, like
today.
trying to get here.
I know. I'm like, I try to go by y'all schedule. I'm always doing something after work, so I'm like, let me rearrange my schedule. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to share it. Hey guys, hello. Those that have joined already. Okay. All right, so just go ahead and do a quick, you can give as little or as much detail as you want. Just go ahead and do an introduction for all of us.
Okay, so my name is Tabasha Holloman. Belt is my maiden name, but I go by both because a lot of my family members always search by my maiden name. So I am a certified life coach, certified relationship coach, group coach, motivational speaker, and positive community advocate. I also do education on sexual reproductive health and hashtag purpose pusher. That's what I deem myself.
Okay. And then I just quick announcement. If you ever click out for some reason, just click back in that link, and it should put you back on the broadcast. And
Okay.
guys, her links are in the caption. So during the video or even after the live, you guys can always go and join her platforms, follow her business pages. They're definitely in the caption, so you can connect with her pretty easily. Inbox her. Like she said, she's a certified life and relationship coach. This is something we need more and more and more, especially in the Black community. So feel free, definitely connect with her by the end of the broadcast. Okay, so moving on, what made you decide to actually choose this particular topic?
So a lot of people, when they talk about relationships, they rarely start with talking about self. And if you don't start with self, you have a shaky foundation. So I always want to start with self, because a person who has a healthy self-care lifestyle, self-love lifestyle is will make a better partner.
Um, I definitely agree. I think I've been seeing a lot of people on the self love lately, and I know for some people it's probably like being worn out, but you can never wear it out too much. Self love is definitely a thing that's missing, I feel like. So I love when you guys are speaking on that more because we definitely need that. I think a lot of people they say self love, but I don't feel like we really know what self love is. So I love that you guys are speaking on that. We definitely need as many perspectives on self love as we can get, especially in the Black community. Guys that
Yes.
are on, ask your questions, put your comments down there. She is here to help. So use her, use her, use her. Tabasha, I don't know
I
if you
have a
can see.
disclaimer. I have a disclaimer.
Okay, go ahead. Say
I
the
do not
disclaimer.
sugarcoat. I do not sugarcoat. So if something hits you hard, I always say it's a life brick, and you just take the brick and build a sturdier foundation. Because for the most part, I don't know many people personally, unless like we're a client or love. So if I say something, you like, is she in my business or did somebody tell her something? Nope, nobody told me nothing. That's just how it rolls sometimes. So
Just to piggyback off of that, I'm glad you said that because obviously, you know, I'm a certified life and relationship coach as well. So things that I speak on, many people be like, "Did somebody tell you that?" Like, you know, or you know, they just be, I guess, because my posts be hint, and I'm like, I'm not talking about you. I don't even know you. We've never had a conversation. So, you know, anything
right,
that is said, if the shoe fit, wear it. Just wear it. You know, take that life lesson
right,
and apply it to your life. We got to grow, y'all. We can't be so easily offended all the time, especially when you go to a person and ask a question. You asking the question because you want to answer. So you got to take that answer, like she said, take that brick, use that brick, apply it. We don't
Right.
sugarcoat, and we shouldn't, because you have to grow. So you can't grow if people are still sugarcoating to you. So I'm excited, Tabasha. Okay, moving on to the next question. The next questions are kind of basic or simple, but I just want to build. Like I said, we talking about foundation, so I just want to give a little simple questions so we can just kind of build the platform on up on healthy foundations for relationships.
Okay.
But could you just go ahead and explain the difference between healthy and unhealthy?
So that actually varies per person. And I do want to remind people that I am not a therapist. I'm a certified life coach. There is a difference. If something that we say triggers you and you feel like you need therapy, hit me up. I do have referrals for that. So healthy is being able to, from my perspective, a healthy relationship is being able to teach someone how to love you and also having the opening to receive on how to love them, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
A lot of people will assume because this is your partner and maybe because there are certain gender that they should know. That's not always true. The
I'm
healthiest
sorry.
of relationships is being able to teach someone how to love you.
I'm sorry. Can you please repeat that first portion of the healthy again? I absolutely 1,000% agree. I see a lot of people like, I'm not teaching no man how to love me or etc. Please,
Right.
can you please repeat your definition of what healthy looks like? Because I totally
Okay.
agree.
Part of my perspective for a healthy relationship is being able to teach someone how to love you and also be willing to learn how to love the next person. But in order to be able to do that, once again, you have to know what you desire, what you don't desire. You have to have healthy communication skills, which means listening, not to respond, but to understand and to have an open form of communication. So, healthy looks different for a lot of people
Mhm.
because in their mind they may have seen or been taught a certain style and it's toxic as a mug, and they think, oh, but for generations this has been correct, um until it's not. Until you learn better, you do better.
Mhm. Absolutely. I do believe that the self love again is very important. A lot of us, personal opinion again, guys, like she said, we are life coaches. We're not therapists. We do speak from experience, from our experience and other experiences. So what works for one won't always work for others. So, take what works, apply it, throw the rest in the ocean, or keep it and give it to somebody else. Um,
Right.
but I do think the self love matters because you cannot teach nobody how to love you if you don't know how to love yourself.
Right.
Unfortunately, exactly what Tabasha has said, most men, because we're women, we look for men. So I'm going to speak for that perspective. Most men are not taught how to love a woman. So a lot of times you can't expect them to come in and just know how to love you, especially because we're different. Every woman is different. So what works for maybe the last woman they had is not going to work for you. So it does incorporate some type of training or teaching, a man to love you and
Even
protect
with
you.
that, most men were not allowed to express themselves emotionally. And
Ooh,
so their love in their mind is more of material things, more
yeah,
physical things. And then when you relate that to a heterosexual relationship, if you have open communication, there can be a balance as long as that person, once again, is willing to take it and not be like, I'm a man, I know how to love you, and this is the way I'm gonna love you. What happens is people usually love a person the way that they want to be loved, and that's not necessarily how a person needs to be loved.
yes, yes.
So when I have couples come to me or when I have individuals come to me, I have them take quizzes to figure out if you are having a conversation with a person, are you actually able to express yourself so that they can understand you enough so that they can comprehend? Which means sometimes you have to repeat the same thing in several different ways because people learn several different ways. You are not going to repeat it one time, because I tell people all the time, I'm 44, I'm about to be 45. What I liked in my 20s, I don't like in my 40s. So I have to be understanding that I'm learning me every day. So how do I expect somebody to know me all the time without me expressing, hey babe, I don't like that no more. And not taking it personal. Like it ain't nothing against you. That don't float my boat no more. So that's part of having a healthy relationship, is understanding that as you live, it's forever changing. So make sure you're forever expressing that.
I love that, and that definitely goes with the title, your brand, the name of your brand. I love that. We are forever changing, and I think even us as women, we forget that. So when we do have somebody, it's like I see a meme, and I kind of understand some of what they're saying, but I see a meme that goes around and it says, "Don't keep telling him." It's basically like, don't keep repeating yourself to him. Go find somebody who's gonna listen the first time. And I kind of get the gist of that, but I don't agree with it, because it's back to what you said. Sometimes it takes repeating, and somebody might not understand what you're saying that particular way. So you have to find a way to get it to them, get the information to them so they can understand. So I love how you said that it's going to take repeating, and then we're forever changing. So yeah, guys, ask your questions. Put your comments, share, tag someone. This is why she is here, to help us. We're going back to healthy foundations. So get those questions out, get those comments out to her. Use her while she's here. We're trying to build healthy, strong individuals so we can have healthy, strong families.
Correct.
So going back to speaking on a foundation, what does that actually look like or represent to you? A foundation.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. So it's a rippling effect, right? So you have to always reevaluate yourself. Some things you need and some things you want. You have to be able to understand and express your boundaries and stand on them. A healthy foundation looks like a person who is taking care of themselves. A healthy foundation in a relationship is someone who is willing to be selfless, someone who is willing to compromise. It's a lot to build a healthy foundation, because like I said, you're forever living, so you're forever changing, so you're forever adding to that foundation. But you have to also be a whole person, meaning healing from maybe childhood traumas or past relationship issues, or just toxic relationship skills that you may have been taught within generational hand-me-downs and stuff like that. As a whole, that means mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, emotionally. Your foundation includes a lot, not just one thing. So you got a lot of bricks, and then you got the mortar in between. You fill it in as you go, and every now and then you might find a crack, and you have to go and put some stuff in there. Like, you may have thought you healed from something and something triggered you. That's a crack in your foundation. You like, oh, I thought I was healed from that. You go back and healing is forever also. It's not like you wake up and you be like, oh, I'm over this. Yes. No, for some things, a trigger can be a smell or a sound or a person's name that may not even be that person. So a healthy foundation comes with a lot. And it represents how you're going to go from there.
I love
Are you
that.
willing to fix your cracks? Are you willing to take those bricks? Are you willing to take those bricks and make a better foundation? Or do you know it all? Do you feel like you got all the bricks that you need and you're going to stack all this other stuff on top of a foundation that may be 2 levels high?
You just I have
Uh-oh, you froze.
You're free. Your audio is free.
I know. Like I tell people, like today has been a day to get to this interview. Like I've had all types of situation. Um, make sure my connection is still. I'm still connected. Am I still froze? Uh-oh. Okay. I know something just said that. Okay, guys, I'm still here. I'm going to see if she's gonna come back. You aren't, but she is. Okay, she went out, and hopefully she's gonna come back in. So y'all can ask some questions. I answer y'all questions. How y'all doing? What are some things you do for self-love? Some of the things that you do for self-love is to be honest with yourself. Um, One of my things is I suggest people go to therapy, just in case there are some things that you need from. Part of my self love is accepting me as I am, with the understanding that as long as I have breath, I have the ability to improve. Understanding that I survived my past and it actually made me who I am today, which is a stronger person. Um, like, what does that look like on a daily basis? And I'm gonna let you know, self-love on a daily basis goes up and down because there are some times that I just don't like myself for whatever reason. I just told a friend of mine that we have to be cautious of when we lie to ourselves, because we do. And what I did was I told myself I wasn't gonna have no sweets yesterday, and I got a craving, and I had an ice cream sandwich, and then I was upset with myself. So I wasn't quite loving myself. I was loving myself, but I didn't like myself at that particular time. So that's how that went. So I don't know if I'm supposed to go out and come back in. I don't know. I'm gonna try to go out because she hasn't sent me an inbox not to. Let me see. It says she went blank. I'm going to send her a message. Yeah, if y'all have questions, come on, ask them. I'll answer them as long as you guys let me know that I'm still here. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Carmen. Hi, Sophia. I don't know what happened. We're having some technical difficulties. I'm trying to see if I'm supposed to come out and come back in. So I'm waiting, but if you guys have any questions, I am here. I'm a certified life coach, relationship coach, motivational speaker, a person who absolutely loves love, a person who absolutely wants people to love themselves more, because I feel like the more people love themselves, it's harder for you not. Okay. So I'm gonna come out and come back, and I'm gonna wait for her to come back in, guys. I'm gonna come out, okay? There I go. Hey, I'm back. And I'm on her side. Oh, mercy. You don't see me? It says in stream. It may take a minute. Let me know. She says she can't see or hear me. Says join broadcast. And,
okay.
There it goes.
It's counting you down. Okay. Okay, are we good?
I can see me.
Okay. Well, I see both of us. Okay, guys that are on, can you let us know if you can see both of us? If you can see both of us, just type yes, thumbs up, something, so we'll know how to proceed.
Yeah, I don't have to see to talk.
Okay. Yep. No, that's fine. Yeah, I know they were on, and I know a lot of people clicked off because we was having the issue. So anybody that's on, can you give me a thumbs up or say yes if you can see both of us on the screen? She was able to get back in, so we're just going to go ahead and continue, but I want to make sure you guys can see and hear us still. And Sophia had a good question to what you were saying, so I'm going to put that on the screen for you to tackle that. I kind of went over it a little bit, but I really want you to be able to tackle this. Okay, so you probably can't see, since you can't see me, you probably can't see the question, so I'm just going to go ahead and read it off. And it says, what are some things you do for self-love? Like, what does that look like on a daily basis for you?
Okay, so when you went off, I had answered that, but I can go back over it.
Yeah, because we didn't hear any of it.
Some of the things that I want people to understand about self-love also is about healing, understanding you, understanding that if you love yourself more, it's easier for you to love other people. A lot of people seem to be upset and hurt, and hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
People who love themselves tend to want to see everybody else. They want to see you feel the same way. So self-love looks different for everybody. It's just like trying to explain to someone how to love you. That looks different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So self-love is, for me, is loving my whole self for who I am. Understanding that I have the ability to always improve. Understanding that my past does not necessarily define who I am right now, but it does have some, as I say, bricks in my foundation, some mortars between my bricks. It is it is what happened to create the person that I am now. That's self-love. That's what self-love looks like.
Mm-hmm. Sophie, I'm not sure if you're still on, but hopefully that answered your question. I did kind of ask people, what are some of their ideas or suggestions of what self-love is. No one answered, but like you said, it's different for everybody. So what works for you or somebody else, it's not going to work for everybody. So when we explain self-love, when everybody explains self-love, you're going to find somebody you can relate to.
Right.
And that's going to, give you some extra help on how you can even incorporate maybe a different type of self-love.
And it's so simple that sometimes it don't make sense, because self-love is exactly the way it sounds. It's you loving your whole self, with the understanding that you're gonna mess up, with the understanding that life isn't fair, with the understanding that you're gonna have your good and your bad. It's the way that you handle them and the way that you approach things, and that you can't control somebody's response to your action, but you can control your action to make sure that your intent is of pureness or of love.
See, I think that the whole trying to control someone else's response to you, I think that's a big issue as well. It's like we do something or somebody else does something to us, and then they want to control, like, well, it wasn't that bad. Well, maybe for me it was,
Right.
So when it comes to that foundation, whether it's friendship or relationship, you got to learn my triggers, or you got to learn what's the boundary for me. So you can't get mad. You slap me and I go and burn, like, this is just this may be an extreme example, but it's just an example. You slap me and I go and like slash your tires. You can't get mad at how I responded.
Correct.
But maybe you can think next time, okay, I can't put my hands on everybody. Everybody not just gonna let me slap them. So, okay, Sophia, that's fine. It's probably just taking time to catch back up, but she's definitely on. And she definitely answered your question. So I don't know if you'll be able to if it'll run back up and you'll see that she actually did answer it. Um, Before I ask my question, Tabasha, the Love Lab actually posted a question, so I'm going to put that on the screen. I answered it already, but I do want you to touch on this as well. And she said, how do you know when you are ready for a relationship after dealing with hurt from your past?
Okay. Only, first of all, only you know when you're ready. There is no certain time limit. There's no one who can just be like, girl, you should be over this, or dude, it ain't that serious. Only you know when you know you're ready.
Mm.
Some of the things to let you know that you're ready is you're willing to once again teach someone how to love you, and you're willing to learn how to love them, and you're willing to not have the new person pay for the past experiences.
Mm.
Don't get me wrong. You may have a few triggers, but catch yourself, check yourself.
Mm.
Allow that person to be who they are, and not if you constantly comparing people, well, my used to, and you're probably not ready. You
Yes.
need to have a clean slate, and allow them to be who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the crazy part is that some people have similarities, and that could be a trigger. But that's when you're able to communicate it, and that person don't know that the last person did the same thing, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
this person is willing to correct it.
Oh, I love how you said that. Allow people to be who they are, and not only that, in that same sentence, I love how you said somebody can have a similarity, but this particular person may actually want to correct whatever it is that's triggering you. So that
Right.
just goes to show you people can change. I do believe in change. I don't hold people to their past because I don't want nobody to hold me to my past. So I'm lenient as far as allowing people in so quickly, but I allow people to be who they are, and I don't judge them based off somebody else because, again, or based off their past because, again, people do change. I'm an advocate for change big time.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think you were off when I kind of gave the example. I was speaking with a young lady before, and I was kind of telling her maybe she's not ready to date because it was a minor issue where like a person would text GM instead of writing out good morning. And I'm like, if that triggers you, maybe you're not ready to date, because that person could just have been running behind or just running late for work or something and just text GM. It doesn't mean, that they were disrespecting you or anything like that. So if that's a trigger for you, then maybe you are in a spot right now where you shouldn't be dating.
But this is the thing. If I've so when you're dating means collecting information to see if you want to go beyond into another relationship. People
Absolutely.
confuse dating with people that do the monogamous dating
Yes.
sometimes fall into relationships.
Yeah.
Dating is literally collecting data to see if you want to then have a conversation and communicate, okay, this is what this next step of this relationship will look like. When it
Mm.
comes to dating, that's when you stand on your boundaries. That's when you express your needs. That's when you express your wants.
Mm-hmm.
I understand there are a lot of people that do have problems with letters and not
Yeah.
the words. I'm
Yeah.
actually one of those people.
Okay.
Um, but I'm also that way, but I'm going to express that to you. But I do understand, like, if you normally do good morning and maybe you did a good GM, that maybe that particular time you were busy. But if
Mm-hmm.
I tell you I don't like it, don't continue it. Now, if you
Yeah.
continue it, that's something different. But
Mm-hmm.
once again, like I said, if oh, that's a trigger. I really don't like that. I really like for this to happen. If that person is willing to do it, they're willing to do it. If they not, then that's when you either be like, okay, this, like, for real. People be like,
Yeah.
okay, this ain't for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. And people be like, but you was upset about that? Yeah, I don't like it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay. If
And
you are trying to get to know me and trying to do things that I desire,
mm-hmm.
text out good morning. And this is the
Mm-hmm.
crazy part. Most phones, when you put in the letter, the word comes up, so it's still 2 clicks.
Mm-hmm.
You still get the same response. So yeah, I wouldn't say that that's not a reason not to date,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to express like, yeah, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. If they're willing to do it, great. If they're not, move on.
The most important thing I feel like you said is the communication there, because
Yeah.
just from speaking with a lot of different women, I do notice when it's things like that, those little minor things. And again, we're talking about foundations too, so I kind of want to speak on just nitpicking at the smallest things. You know what I'm saying? Like some things should be nitpicked at, but as far as that with the GM thing, a lot of times it's not even expressed to the person, but it's just the woman goes off and overthinking, and it's like, oh my God, he said GM instead of good morning. And then now they created a whole situation. And it goes back to what you said, like, did you communicate that to him? Or,
Right.
how many times did you communicate it? If he's just steadily like, oh, forget you, I'm not going to text it out, I'm just going to say GM, then that's where you got to choose on if you're going to cut out on this dating phase with him, or you want to, continue until he quote unquote changes.
Right.
Sophia also said the letters are something for her as well. But she said she do it to her friends all the time. Right. Yeah. I guess sometimes it's different when it comes to an intimate thing with dating or
Mm-hmm.
relationship versus with a friend. So um,
That's
collecting
exactly
data,
it.
exactly, Muhammad. I guess you got to know, or you got to be in tune with the person you're dating and collecting data from to know, okay, I like this person. Let me go ahead and spell out good morning instead of GM, because I want to, again, create a healthy foundation with this person. I don't want to create chaos in the beginning. So,
But what you said makes sense. I don't want you to talk to me the same way you talk to your friends. I want a different style of communication. I want our intimacy to be different. So if you text all your friends, because I don't too much mind from my friends a GM.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
if it's like I said, if it's someone who I'm trying to create something with, then I want you to put more into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. And it also comes with age, because like I said, when I was probably in my 20s, I didn't good morning GM, all right, whatever. But
Yeah.
now that I'm in my 40s, about to be 45, I want a little bit more.
Yeah. I just want to, Tabasha and Sophia, as a woman, because I'm just gonna be transparent. I have dealt with that. I have dealt with that before. But that's something that doesn't bother me anymore. I guess I dealt with that on a different level. So I do agree with you guys. But I'm going to put Muhammad's comment on the screen. I actually agree with him as well. I guess trying to look at it from a man's side, or a side now that I am on with the GM. Oops, wrong one, sorry. But he said getting upset about an acronym, it may be a sign of a deeper problem. I don't know if that's always the case, but I can sort of see why he can say it may be a sign of something deeper. If you're upset just over, the letters of a word. I kind of feel like with compromise, there's always some type of compromise. Everyone is not going to always get it right. Again, we're talking about foundation. So we're talking about dealing with someone who, has a whole different upbringing, a whole different learning life lessons. So to them, it's not that they're, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, it's not that they're disrespecting you by saying GM, but to them, they can be doing everything else in the world that's right. But are you going to let a GM compromise or overtake, all the good things that they done to you and for you just because, like he said, a acronym? Would
It's
that be
also the way
considered a
that you
deeper problem?
but it's also the way that you respond to it. Like I said, now if you that type of person that like, oh my God, you did it, you might need to. But if you be like, hey, I really in the, because to me, if we're dating and we're trying to get somewhere, and that's probably one of the first things that's going to get my day started, I just, for me, I just need a little more from that particular person.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I require different from my partners than I do from other sets of friends, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to also give that person different, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. Now, if
Yeah.
you respond outright, yeah, you may have a deeper issue you may have to deal with. But you ever heard that phrase, what you let pass that was small in the beginning will be like big in the end?
I haven't heard that, but I've heard things similar to that. So I definitely know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I
Yeah.
definitely
I mean,
understand.
don't you don't have to blow up about it.
Yeah.
If you I mean, but if you commute, and usually if you let that person know how much that means to you,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, most phones you put a G, the good comes up. You put the M, the morning comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Same, it's the same time.
Yeah. Mine's actually, I don't know if that's an iPhone and Android type thing. I don't know. I know mine's don't do it, but it is one of those things where what you dating is, I don't believe people even know how to date. It's one of those things
Yep.
where, going back to the GM thing, okay, so if you like the good morning, express that to him versus going into an overthinking mode. Now you're
Yes.
mad and everything, and he don't know you mad. So now everything
Right.
he do irks you for,
Yeah.
irks you, and it's like, and he like, what is wrong with you? I done sent you flowers, I done did this and the other, and you mad.
Yeah.
What are you mad about? So it definitely goes back to what you said. What you let go in the beginning is gonna become that you don't like, it's gonna become a bigger problem later. So definitely nip it in the bud in the beginning. Communicate that, and if this person is for you, exactly what you said, he or she is gonna definitely change to meet your would that be considered a love language type thing?
Yes. Yes. And I love 5 love languages.
Yeah.
That's one of the main components that I use. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things of, if you're ready for a relationship, you're ready to teach someone how to love you. And that's what
Mm,
I'm saying. If you're a
yeah.
person of affirmations or stuff like that, words really matter to
Yeah.
people who love language is affirmations. And that's why I say you have to be willing to teach a person without getting upset.
Mm-hmm.
So for the person that their love language is affirmation, which is wording,
Mm-hmm.
the words may seem simple to you, but they mean so much more to the other person. Just like acts of service can be really huge to you, and people be like, well, okay, but if that's what you need and I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to be that person, then I'm willing to learn that.
Yes.
So yeah, that's part of
Um,
that.
and it's important that you know your own love language, because again, in fact, if you guys were on here from the beginning, Tabasha hit it from the beginning. If you don't know yourself, how do you expect somebody else to know you? So if you don't know your love language, you can expect this person to spell out, good morning, and know that this is the words of affirmation, or what's your love language. You can expect them to
Right.
know that. And then in relationships and dating, everything, it's always a training process. Like
Hmm.
that's just inevitable. You can't be like, oh, they need to know me, they need to watch me and learn me. Yeah, I mean, if you into somebody, you should be watching, you should be learning
Yes.
them. But at the same time, communication is key, and it's the foundation. So
Yes.
sometimes they might see a bird and you looking like, that ain't no bird, that's a peacock. And they like, well, it's the same thing, ain't it? So the understanding the understanding is always not on the same level. So communication definitely has to be the key. Um, guys, ask your questions, put your comments down there. We see you. I love it. I love it. Share, tag somebody. And right as I was going to my next question, she clicked off. uh, okay, so she's having issues again. Hopefully she clicks back in really soon. And yes, I am bad at pronouncing names, so I am sorry if I do not pronounce your name right. Is it Demara Vine? Demara Vine? Yes, you have to be able to talk. And I think growing up, a lot of us did not have. Yeah, Muhammad, she clicked off. I see it. The screen is black. She clicked off, so I think it did something to our connection. So I'm just waiting on her to click back in, and hopefully that puts our screen back on. I'm sorry, we've been having technical difficulties. Um, she's coming. Okay, guys. Is our screen still black? They said our screen is black.
Okay, so I had to switch devices.
Okay.
So I cannot see, but I can hear. So if you can
And
go with
one of the guests said our screen is black, so I'm just trying to see if it's still black. If I can. So I might have to refresh my page.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't understand the internet, but obviously our messing with each other. Okay, guys. Okay, Muhammad, I'm just gonna go ahead. Mine's is black. Maybe it'll be black eventually. But I'm going to.
She's still black. Okay, wait a minute, because I'm on now and you're black, so maybe it's catching up.
Okay.
I'm looking on another phone.
Okay, since you are the guest, I'm just gonna go ahead and ask you a question. They don't have to be me.
Yeah, see the question. So
you're
go
the
ahead.
guest. It's all about you. So. Okay, we kind of went over this. You don't have to talk too much. You can just add a little bit to this question. It says, explain the importance of a healthy foundation. I know we spoke on it, but do you have anything to add to that?
Say that one more time.
I said, I know we spoke pretty much previously on a healthy foundation, but did you have more to add to explaining the importance of it?
Oh, the importance of a healthy foundation.
Yeah.
You can't build anything on a weak foundation.
Yeah.
So you are the first block in your foundation.
Okay, guys. The only thing I can do is continue to apologize, guys. I've never dealt with this, with the screen steadily going black and our connections are being knocked off. She was just knocked off again for some reason. She was supposed to be explaining the importance of a healthy foundation, and then she just got clicked off. Give me one. If you can bear with me, give me 1 second again. Okay, guys. I don't know if the screen's still black. I'm waiting on her to click back in. Tabasha, are you able to see me now, or am I still black?
It say we live though. Listen, this got to be healing somebody, because somebody don't want this message to get out.
Yeah, and that's why I apologize. I'm like, oh my God, this has never. When I say has never happened, it's like I'm steadily apologizing. I hate that I'm able to, have to apologize, but it's the internet and we can't control it. Okay, good. They say they both can see us now. Did you want to speak a little bit again on the importance of a healthy foundation?
Okay, so the foundation starts with you. The bricks that make your foundation are the way that you were raised, what you saw as a child on how relationships were, your experiences on your actual relationships is part of your foundation. What you see in public from other people is part of your foundation. But the most important thing is that you know when your foundation is strong. As long as you're willing to learn. Some people will stand on their broken foundation because I've been like this all my life. And you seeing that there is a different possibility, and you still stand on that. Don't get me wrong. You can be a certain way for a long time and then still be like, oh, but this works better. And this actually feels better. A lot of people express or live a toxic way until they see something different. Now, the crazy part is that you can see it and they may not be able to see it, and they may never see it, which is disheartening for some people, but that's the truth. That's the reality.
Yeah. The learning part. You know what? I'm not going to say that yet. Let me get to my next question because if I talk, it's going to go into the questions. So what signs do we look for in a relationship when a relationship starts to become unhealthy?
So some of the basic things of unhealthiness is abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse. My words are escaping me. When a person keeps you from other people, seclusion,
Oh yeah,
those are signs of unhealthy relationship. Narcissism, um, gaslighting. Gaslighting is when you know a person has done something, but they make you think it's your fault. That's
oh yeah,
unhealthy.
mm,
Yeah, it's a lot of crazy part. It's a lot of unhealthy signs that people sometimes chalk up. Oh well, you got to accept something.
mm,
So some things you're gonna accept, some things you're not. Like, some people can accept verbal abuse, but can't accept physical abuse. But it's both
yeah,
toxic.
yeah, yeah. The level of tolerance is definitely different for a lot of people. That's why
Yeah,
we continue to say what works for one will not always work for the other. Don't get
exactly.
mad. Take what works, throw the rest out in the ocean. Sophia, yes, I would definitely want to say that control. And everything that Tabasha was saying,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
hearing control, control, control.
yeah.
Those are definitely signs. And this
And
might
they
sound a
start
little
subtle
biased.
though. They'll start real subtle,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you find
Um,
this is why you gotta love yourself, because what happens is people will do subtle things to the point where you no longer know yourself, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, control is
I know. Say that one more time.
control is one of the big things. Control to me is a sign of abuse.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Control and manipulation definitely goes hand in hand,
Yeah.
big time. And those are the I feel like those are the majority of signs that we have. From my view of seeing how this generation is, I definitely want to say it's definitely in women. We have that a lot too, the control and manipulation in a lot of areas. But those are definitely signs that can be seen. They're very subtle and small sometimes in the beginning, like I said, but they're very noticeable. It's just, I guess, if we choose to, ignore the signs just so we can still, be around the person.
Yeah.
Um, so the
Um
next one, can a relationship start off with a healthy foundation and then go downhill?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, say point blank period. Yes.
And the reason is because you can meet a person at this particular time, and at that particular time they're healthy, but then they start to age, but they stay right here, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
When
Do you have an example of why that may happen?
um change is hard. As my dad say, life ain't fair, and it definitely ain't easy, but it's definitely worth living. Um, if I stay this, I'm comfortable in this way. If I change, I may lose something right here, not realizing you can also gain something as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Um,
Some people stay where they at because they think that's it. Like,
yeah.
I'm happy where I'm at, not realizing that's just a little bit. He got some more for you. Come on, he got some more for you.
In relationships, friendships, anything in life, I feel like everything is forever changing. Um, you're either growing together or you're growing apart.
Yes.
So I guess I hear they're hearing an echo. I know you are too. It's like you're like,
I
oh,
hear
what are
what
you
I
saying? And then it comes in. Hold on one second. Give me one second. Sophia has a question. I'm definitely gonna put that on the screen. Give me one second.
Okay.
refresh. Okay, this is both of us. Tabasha, I'm gonna go ahead and answer it. It says some people always say they have a deal breaker. And then she asked, do either of us have that, or do we think it's healthy when determining things in our relationship?
I have learned to not say never. A lot of people want to say, well, I'm never gonna do this until you in that position. And
Oh
then
yeah.
you like, yeah. Some people will say, yeah, this is my deal breaker until you put in that situation.
What would be a deal breaker for you?
For me, I can't say it because what I have said was a deal breaker. It has happened and I allowed it. And then I was like, crap.
Yeah.
I have a problem with breaking the trust of cheating
Mhm.
because I feel like that's a choice.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's a lack of communication. That's a lack of self-control at times.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So are
So
you
I
saying?
have a hard time with cheating. Hard time.
So are you? She said I'm people. So are you saying, just so I can understand if we're on the same page? Are you saying cheating is your deal breaker?
No, because it's hard. Let me see. I've been in a relationship where it happened
Mhm.
and the mindset is everybody can change, right?
Yeah.
So you continue. But then when it becomes the reality of that's just it, that they just gonna keep doing it,
Mhm.
then I'm like, oh no, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely does. I'm where you at. I can't even say that I have a deal breaker. That I
Oh wait, well, I just lied. I do have a deal breaker
can.
because I have stood on this one my whole life. You cannot put your hands on me in a violent way.
Oh yes, I didn't think of that. Yes.
It
I
happened,
don't.
and
That
I
don't come to mind
immediately
because I haven't dealt with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think once in my life I had a man that tried to like hem me up, and I immediately went the other way. I said, "Oh
yeah.
no, I don't play like that." And I'm small. I'm short and I'm small. So if you playing with me and you hemming me up, that's a deal breaker for me because I feel like those are the signs in the beginning that this is who you are. So when you get mad, how much more forceful is this going to get?
Well,
So
I'm a survivor of a domestic situation. I'd say conquered it, but I immediately left. Like it wasn't no, oh no. And now today when I'm dating, I let people know like, um, don't be making those certain gestures at me because my response
yes,
is survival mode, and
yes,
you liable to get pop back real quick, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't know you was playing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't like to argue in loud tones
Mhm.
to the point where I will pass out. I will faint if you yelling at me too loud. I've done it since I was a child, and now I'm at a disadvantage because I'm
Yeah.
laying on the ground. So I
Mhm.
don't like to argue. I will have a discussion with you. We will disagree, but us disagreeing sound just like this. And that really irritates people. But they don't know that I'm protecting myself because if I get too elevated, I might pass out.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that. I've never heard of that. That is, I don't pass out, but I do go into flight mode. Like I really go into a panic and fear mode if I'm with somebody and they put their hands on me, like even in a jokingly way about a situation. I don't joke or play like that. So yeah, I'm in flight. The minute you do that,
Yeah.
I'm out because that's a deal breaker for me. Going back to the cheating thing, I would I would say I do believe that people change, but I do believe there's a difference with someone being in a situation where they are mentally or emotionally not in a space to have that self-control versus someone who's just a compulsive cheater. Like, this is just who they are. Like, there's no change no matter what. I do think there's a difference. So I mean, I don't know. I don't. Besides that physical thing, I can honestly say I really don't know if I really have deal breakers. I haven't ran across too many.
This is the thing for me. Everybody has the opportunity to cheat. It's all about you taking it up on yourself to say, does what I have right now, is it, am I willing to lose it to get this right here for a few minutes?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I tell people, especially if I feel like I have an open line of communication, and it's something that you're missing, let me know. Like, but you have to have that set with your partner that it's okay to come and talk to you and be like, babe, I didn't like the way that you did this, without you. Well, what do you mean? No, you
Yeah.
need to be able to talk about it and acknowledge that particular situation. Or, babe, I would like to experience this. Now, here comes the issue where I'll be transparent. Right now, I'm not an anal sex type of person, right?
Me either.
I'm period point blank. Right. So like if that's what you need, I'm probably not your person. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
if you decide to get into this relationship and that's something you constantly desire, and you can keep asking me, maybe one day you might get lucky.
Yeah.
But you knew from the beginning that wasn't one of my things.
Exactly.
So then that's when you be like, is that something I can do without? I mean, you keep asking. I'm not gonna get upset because people do change their mind. My business is I am changing, and maybe one day I get that right drink in me. I'm feeling right. Maybe
one day we gonna experiment, right?
Maybe, but not from the beginning. That is highly.
But you know what? I feel that definitely goes back to the foundation. Big time on the foundation. Sometimes we go too much, and it's not always good. Ask those questions. Ask those hard questions. Really get into the likes and dislikes of a person, because you'll find a lot in the beginning when you waste a lot of your time. And a lot of us,
don't send your representative.
Oh my God. You cannot get into a relationship without dating. I get that. But when I say I've been so burnt out with the dating, I'm like, I am tired of your representative. Let's move past that and get on to the real good things.
Yeah, I throw people off. I throw people off when it comes to coaching people on how to date, especially with today's everything is happening so fast. So many people are losing their lives, and people want a certain thing. And I feel like people are like, you shouldn't ask certain questions at a certain time. If that's something that you desire, ask it.
Yeah.
They can't do something but not answer it or answer it.
I don't think there's a wrong time to ask anything, except for, will you marry me? Like, when we first meet, don't ask that question. That's a no. But in dating and getting to know each other, I don't ask. Throw out as many questions as you want. Just ask. I don't think there's a wrong time to ask anything. You trying to get to know that person. Like you said, I'm trying to see if you somebody I want to have as a lifelong partner. So you gotta ask a lot of the toughest stuff.
I wouldn't even say that for somebody on that first date, there are some people that you can ask to marry you on that first date. That question works for some people. It don't work for everybody.
Yeah.
So I mean, don't ask me, but I'm just saying that works for somebody, because I've heard the stories of people having their mind set and having their mind ready and meeting a person. They was like, I knew the first date that was the person, and they were ready. Like, so for some people that may be an okay question, but for me, I ask people in their life plan, do they plan on getting married?
Yeah.
Not that we could get married today, because I've had people that's like, no, I'm just not gonna get married. And then
Yeah.
people like, well, maybe they can change their mind down the road. But my thing is, if they don't, I cannot get upset with them
Yes.
because they told me from the beginning that that wasn't part of their life plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then once again, that's when you can make the choice to be like, okay, I'm cool with this, or nah, I desire something different.
Mm-hmm. That's what I say. Some of those important questions do need to be asked. Do you want to ever get married? I mean, that's a great question to ask, because if you a person that wants to be a wife or a husband, why would you even waste your time with somebody who from the jump is like, nah, I don't see that. Don't waste your time trying to change it. Move on then.
Yeah, people get upset. People get upset because they be like, well, maybe you was the one that was gonna change that person.
Yeah.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
that's all I got.
I had one more question, but this is it's a question. Someone asked about childhood. Are you able to see that on the screen? It said,
I
"What
can't see
about?"
nothing.
Okay, I'm having an echo, so I was trying not to talk as much. But it says, "What about if you were abused when you were younger? Did that mess with your relationship?"
Heck yes. If you have not healed from it or dealt with it, it will tear you and everybody you connected to up.
I agree.
Childhood trauma is just what it's trauma. It's traumatic. And um part of childhood trauma, and it's gonna sound so simple, and I don't want people to think that I'm taking away from their trauma, but part of childhood trauma is some of the people take responsibility of what happened to them as a child, that it wasn't on them, if that makes sense. What happened to you didn't happen to you because you asked for it.
Yeah.
What happened to you didn't happen to you because you did something wrong. Now, the older you get, either that's going to stay present in your life, or you're going to be like, I'm just tired of that particular situation, and I'm going to try to each day live differently.
Um, I definitely believe it starts with a decision in your mind that it's time to let go.
Yeah.
Same person that asked this question, she has another question, and is basically just said she's dealing with that, and she says, how does she go about fixing it? What if it's your family?
How do you go about what?
How do you go about fixing the issues you're dealt with when you were younger?
Um, I always recommend people to go to therapists,
Okay.
because there are certain therapists that specifically deal with childhood trauma.
Yeah.
That's not my lane.
Right.
So therapy deals with things in your past that you're trying to work with. A life coach is right now working on goals that you are trying to accomplish right now.
Absolutely.
Within that, sometimes I will stop and recommend for someone to go to therapy, because a childhood trauma can stop them from moving forward in a current goal.
So Damara, from what I'm getting from this, you may very well need a therapist and a life coach, all in the same. So,
Yes.
Tasha has recommendations if you want to hit her up separately. She has recommendations on the therapist, and then of course she is a life coach. So working with her and the therapist probably be a really good thing for you. But just talk with her later, and she'll be able to, Tabasha be able to send you in the right direction on that.
And let me explain something to y'all. I'm a life coach. I have a therapist. I have a spiritual life. I have a business coach. I have access to life coaches.
Yeah.
If you are living your life, you also need other people to hold you accountable for. You need other people to be able to balance you. You cannot do everything for yourself.
Yeah.
Other people were gifted with other talents so that you guys can get together and be a better you. I'm
Yeah.
not suggesting that you go to therapy just because it sounds good. I'm suggesting it because that's what I do and that's what works for me. And most people that I have suggested that go to a therapist, once they find the right therapist, because sometimes you don't get the right one first off. Once you find the right therapist, people are then like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've known, like I said, I like how you broke down the difference between a therapist and a life coach, because I've known people that actually work with both. Because again, life coaches don't dig that deep into your past. So it very well may be that you can't move forward until you deal with that thing in the past. Yeah, you definitely gonna need that therapist. And then sometimes the therapist they only focus strictly on that part of the healing to where they can't help you move forward. And that's where your life coach comes in. So yeah, tomorrow definitely inbox Tabasha. You guys can speak on that a little bit more. And then
Did you see the one question from Muhammad that asks about should your relationship start as a friend?
you know what? I did not see that. And
Yeah,
there's
he
some
asked.
things, so the questions are going like so fast. So I'm mixing stuff. I did not see that. What did it back
It
up?
says something like should you in your relationship should you start as friends? Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. You definitely should start, and for me that matters.
Hmm.
I don't know how else you would start other than as a friend.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, like I said, some people have met the first day and they've been together ever since.
Hmm.
But yeah, friends.
Definitely. Friends first. Definitely. I'm an advocate for that. Friends first. So as we close out, we have a last question. Those of you that are on here, if you have questions, comments, go ahead and get them in. We are closing out after this last question. Just want to remind you guys, both of our links are in the caption, so you can connect with one or both of us on all our platforms. We both are certified life relationship coaches, so definitely connect. I would say definitely connect with both. We both have areas that we are weaker or stronger at. So it does not hurt to work with more than one life coach or more than one, I guess, therapist. I'm not a therapist either, so I wouldn't dig deep into that too much. Bernard say love at first sight. No. It could
You said
possibly happen, but I don't do the love at first sight. Connection at first sight, yes. The love at first sight, I don't necessarily believe in.
I do.
Tabasha, as we tackle this last question, it says if the foundation is not healthy from the jump, then it eventually grow into something.
It can, but that's some people will get together in trauma, and when the trauma is over, they no longer have a connection,
Oh,
and somebody gets hurt. If
we
that makes sense. So yeah, you can get with someone that has an unhealthy foundation, but that might be your connection, and then when they become healthy, you no longer have a place in their life. And
absolutely.
that sounds harsh, but I will say from my experiences, I have dated men that needed to be healed, and after we broke up, they became awesome husbands.
Mm. Ooh. You heard that saying, like a lot of people don't want to let go because it's like I don't want to build you and make you a better man for the next woman.
But
That's
that was
totally
it.
what I got from your explanation.
That probably was your purpose in that person's life.
Yeah,
It's hard to take,
yeah,
because you be like, I done did, and then you be like,
yeah.
that wasn't me.
It's like you have been with this person for 5 years. He meets somebody else and he doing everything for this person that encountered in 5 years. Yeah, it probably was your purpose to build. It sucks. But it's just like we all got a purpose, and it's up to you to figure out, I guess, what's someone's life, and vice versa. Damara, once you click off this video, if you click into the caption, you will see that our links are in there. You can access both of us through the caption after the video ends. But Tabasha, do you have any last words before we get on off?
I want everybody to understand that you were specifically created on purpose with a purpose, and you were created in your uniqueness on purpose. Stop comparing yourself to other people, because when you compare yourself to other people, you're losing sight of your uniqueness. No one is perfect, but your imperfections make you who you are as a better person, especially if you are able to learn from your lessons. This gonna sound real crazy, but have your tests be testimonies. Have your mess become messages. You know what I'm saying? Have your bruises, look at your bruises as a blessing. That sounds really cliche, but to me, it makes so much sense, because my life experiences, if I wouldn't have experienced them, I wouldn't be able to share with you what I'm sharing with you. So sometimes you might go through a hell that that doesn't have anything to do with you, but the next person is looking at you survive that, and they like, oh, if they can get through that, I can get through that. Because like I said, today was crazy at trying to get this interview. So I know that it was here to help somebody.
Yes,
I couldn't sleep night. I got up late for work this morning. I left my work phone. I had to go back to work. Got to work. It was crazy. The kids called me. My power was off. I'm at my sister's house right now doing this. My hot now. I got back on the phone, but somebody needed to hear this message, and whoever heard this message is about to explode for something, and somebody didn't want that to happen, but we kept
so much, too much trouble. And I'm like, what is going on? I've never had this. Burnett, absolutely. It sucks. And I think TD Jakes, I think him say that, but it sucks. But sometimes your purpose is to go to somebody's life and make them better for the next person. That, yes, it sucks, but it's life. We don't know what God's plan is. We gotta go with the flow and know that in the end, whichever way we go, if we're obedient to Him, it's for our good.
Right.
Not everybody are lifetime people. Some people are seasonal, and we gotta be able to let those seasonal people go when it's time. Tabasha, you say that one more time.
It's not bad either.
Oh, absolutely. Perception is everything. The last thing you said, let your test be a testimony, your mess be a message. And you mentioned something about bruising. You know what you said about that?
About what?
You mentioned something about bruises.
Let your bruises be blessings.
Because I'm going to quote you. That's why I have to. Okay, guys. So we are. I thank you guys, everyone that joined, everyone that commented, had a question, that shared. We love you guys. Again, we are here for the Black community. We got to get this together. Men and women, we got to get healed, whole, healthy. I love Black love. It's not against no other race, but I love Black love. But we gotta get this foundation together, y'all. So y'all help us help you. Thank you guys. See you later.